Yeah. Good afternoon to the July 11th, 2024 meeting of the Board of Education of the Castro Valley Unified School District. This is a special meeting of our board that we will be doing in public. I am looking for a motion for approval of our agenda.
Move to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Excellent. And with that, what's our vote? Trustee Raymond,
Yes.
Trustee Howard.
Yes.
I am a yes.
And I am a yes as well.
Okay, 4-0, yes. So now this is the time when we recess to closed session. We will be back at 5:30 for our open session. So let me say goodbye to everyone here in public. See you soon. Good evening. Welcome back to our open session of the Board of Education of the Castro Valley Unified School District. This is a special board meeting that we are conducting tonight on Thursday, July 2nd, 2024. We just were in closed session and the board took no action in closed session. So our next part we'll be going to item 3D, and I'll be providing some instructions about public comments. Before I do, I want to acknowledge, and I think all the board members can acknowledge, that we've received a lot of emails and we appreciate the input that we've received from the public. My personal standard is to try to respond to everyone. If I haven't responded to you, you will get a response from me. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it before the meeting, but thank you for participating in your democracy by reaching out and providing that information to us. I also want to set some expectations with regards to public comments tonight. This is not a public hearing. If you've been here in the past on this issue, during a public meeting, we are obliged to provide 3 minutes of speaking time to each person who is speaking. This is a special board meeting. We have up to 30 minutes per agenda item. We have 3 agenda items tonight. They are distinct. If you could just take a look at the agenda and make sure that you are aware of the distinct items that we are looking at tonight. So with that in mind, I would just want to remind you that we are able to limit public comment to help accommodate as many speakers as possible. We will take a look at how many people have signed up. In the back, you will find blue comment cards. If you are here in the boardroom and you would like to make a comment, just please provide them to Ms. Cayer, and she will add it to the list, and she's keeping count. And right before we do the agenda item, we will confer as a board to see how many people have decided to speak, and we can try to accommodate. And so I appreciate your flexibility with that. And also one last reminder, this is a meeting of our board in public. So with that, we are conducting our business in public. We believe in transparency, and we welcome you to be a part of this conversation tonight. And let me give you our instructions for public comment. The board respects and encourages the public to comment on matters on the board agenda and within the board's jurisdiction. The board fully supports civil discourse and requests that everyone respect each other and their point of view. Individuals who would like to address the board must complete a request to speak blue form on the back table or via the online Google form at www.cv.k12.ca.us/public comment/ and submit it prior to the start of the agenda item. At the discretion of the board president, speaker cards may be accepted after the start of the agenda item. Your name will be called and you will either come to the podium to speak or unmuted during your turn and be allowed to make public comments. After the allotted time, you will then be remuted. Individual speakers are asked to limit their comments to no more than 3 minutes unless the board decides otherwise. There are up to 30 minutes of public comment allowed on each agenda item. With board consensus, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed. The meeting is being recorded to prepare the official minutes. To comply with the Brown Act, the board may listen to comments from the speakers under public comment, but can neither discuss nor take action on the issues presented. And let me just also add about public comment. You may not yield your time to another person. We are not the U.S. Congress. We don't operate that way. Your time is your time and only your time. And with that, we are going to go into our reports, discussion, and action items under item 4A, B, and C. 4A is our first one. And one thing that is not on our agenda tonight, Superintendent Amadi, we're not doing our mission statement, but I do want everyone to check out our strategic directions over here that really do reflect the values of our district, of this board, and the work that we try to do. We are here for the kids of Castro Valley. We are here to provide an exceptional public education to them. And I encourage you, if you have time, to check out the version of this online or outside. And with that, let's go to item 4A, to approve the First Amendment to the amended and restated design, construction, and facility use agreement entered into with HARD in June of 2023.
So this item A, in response to a public comment, HARD and the district agreed, subject to board approval tonight, to revise the original agreement to include terms that will reduce noise and light impacts, including reducing field lighting to 20% illumination at 9 p.m., at which time all field play will cease, and prohibiting PA systems or devices. At this time, so they actually approved that at their last meeting, and it's up for you to consider approval. At this time, I would like to ask, we have two board members from HARD here, Mr. Andrade and Ms. Lamnin. They have a few words to say about this agreement. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, board members. Let me see if I get this right here. My name's Lou Andrade. I've been a board member on the HARD board since 1994. And I just want to introduce HARD. Some people may not understand that HARD is your park district. Even though the word Hayward is in it, it actually serves, half the district is unincorporated, and it serves Castro Valley, Fairview, San Lorenzo, Ashland, Cherryland. I live in Castro Valley. My kids went to school here. In 2019, we did a master plan, and we've been well aware prior to that, but in the master plan, we said, we realized that, we're definitely short of soccer fields in Castro Valley. And we've been serving Castro Valley youth soccer as best we can at our other fields in Hayward, San Lorenzo, one in, I think Stonebray, one in Ashland. And so kids from here, they have to go all the way to those fields. And this includes the one in Union City. They're almost Union City. So it's a large field. So we operate these fields. So the Castro Valley kids have had to go over there, and then the pressure for fields is there. So we've been working now with we passed a measure bond in 2016, a measure F1 bond. We have, it was a $250 million bond, and we dedicated a certain amount for this field in cooperation with the school district. This is a joint project that will benefit the school students and other activities there, and it would benefit the youth soccer in the general area. So that's the process. Now, in order for this to work, we do need time outside of school hours for youth soccer to actually do their practice and their play, and that includes having lights in the winter time so that there's some activity that actually works. Now, lights today are not the old-fashioned lights. There are LED, there's spotlights. They don't bleed very much, And the question is, how many people are going to be there? This is not the World Cup soccer. These are, I believe, 4 fields. They're going to be, kids on the field and their parents. It's usually not a big tournament, So the impact will be negligible, given that the field's already there, the parking is already there, and everything's there. So it's a good solution. It's a partnership with the school district. It saves taxpayers money. And I don't really have another field in Castro Valley. There is no flat land in Castro Valley that can operate a soccer field with the demand that we have here. I want to say, okay. So the other thing I wanted to say is some people think that this is a money-making operation for HARD. It is not a money-making operation. We recover about 35% in our fees of what it costs to maintain it. This is all our fields are essentially subsidized. So what's happening, the fees that will go in here is going to go into a fund with the school district, and that's going to be used to help replace the field. I believe the fields will last around 10 years and they need to be replaced. At the end of 10 years, we'll have about maybe $2.5 million. And we still will need to have more money to do that. And that'll be funded at that time, but this is not a money-making operation. So as a park district that serves your area and has served your area for 80 years, we think this is the best solution for the citizens of Castro Valley and the district as a whole. And we urge you to support. And with those modifications that have been made, I believe this is a good solution. And, we have to remember, we've been negotiating this with the school district board since at least 8 years or something, two board managers. And I think we've finally gotten right over the threshold right now. And we will have as soon as construction starts or after construction, we'll have this beautiful field that'll be a benefit to the district and for the schools and for the community at large. Okay. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lou, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. I am Sarah Lamnin. I'm the newest board member for HARD. Prior to that, I served on the city council in Hayward for 8 years, and I have a degree in recreation, and I worked in that field for about 20 years. And all of that to say that I'm really excited about the partnership that is this project. The partnership between the school district and HARD. These are not different kids. We serve the same kids. We serve the same community members and the same neighbors. And what we have learned over the last couple of years is that we could serve them even better. This facility is a public facility. Your tax dollars built it. All of our tax dollars, I live here too. All of our tax dollars built this field, but we can't use it in its current condition. And so the opportunity through our partnership and through the input of the community says this is the project we need to move forward with now. We have a high demand for soccer. We have a high demand for safe fields that can be accessed in appropriate ways. We have the experience as HARD and as the school district to make sure that all activities there are safe and meet the high standards of our community. And so I look forward to this project. I really hope that it gets approved tonight. The ADA access, as well as the opportunity for not just the school community during a school day, but the whole community to use it throughout a reasonable amount of time is really reflective of those vision and strategic values that you mentioned at the beginning, President Kusiak. So thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for your comments. Trustee Raymond.
I have some questions. I don't know if HARD wants to field them or Ms. Amati, if you want to field them. I was hoping that somebody could just very briefly and quickly run down the specific changes that have been made to the agreement, taking into account public comment
Mhm.
that's been
Do
made
you have any,
prior to today.
do we have any public comment on this item? No.
Okay. Okay, then that's my question.
Mhm.
I'll second it. Right? Make it.
Sorry, I'll make a motion. What?
Yep.
Yeah. I move that we're going to consider the First Amendment to the amended and restated design, construction, and facility use agreement.
I'll still second it.
So let's vote, and after that, we can have a little discussion.
Actually, let's discuss it.
Let's discuss, sorry, we are going to discuss. Is there any discussion among the board members?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. We got this. All right. So my question again was, and I don't know if the district wants to field this question, sorry, or the HARD representatives want to field it. I would like somebody to just kind of list out briefly, but specifically the changes that have been made, taking into consideration the public comments that we received in the last few weeks.
Yeah, Ms. Chandler.
Yes, so the included in the packet is actually the amendment to the agreement. So I'm just going to kind of highlight a few things here that are included. The section 3 is being amended to include additional sentence. And I'm going to read that off that. So with field lighting will be automatically dimmed to 20%. Again, this is an added language to the original, to the amended agreement. Field lighting will be automatically dimmed to 20% to its maximum illumination level at 9 p.m. And then the other section is also talks about the amplified sound devices. We added this new provision because it was not included in the previous agreement. No amplified sound devices or systems of any kind are permitted on the field during the hours of 6 to 10 p.m. And then it talks about all of the different sections as well. And also, let's see, I want to make sure that I covered both of those. I think those are mainly the two things that we've made sure that we added to this amended agreement, lighting and also the amplified sound devices.
One quick follow-up question. The lighting being dimmed to 20% of its illuminating capacity, that's like turning it down almost off, correct?
So it's only 20% instead of 100%, so it's reduced by 80%. And then that's just to let people out and clean up,
And allow them
clean up.
to leave the premises, yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Trustee Whitaker has her hand raised.
Yes, thank you, President Kuziak. I too wanted to thank the community for all of their comments that has created an opportunity for us to look at this. I know HARD passed their resolution and we're looking at this resolution tonight. And I also want to thank, I know Gary Howard and I were on the committee looking at this agreement with HARD over the past few years. And, you know, we are public agencies working towards public good together. So I'm really thankful for the partnership for a positive outcome. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I have a few things to say. First, I want to thank our board members from HARD for being here tonight. It was a pleasure to be at your meeting last week and to say a few words. One thing that I've learned in living in Castro Valley since I moved here, we are, as an unincorporated community, you really have to fight for things. You have to, and partnerships are a critical part of it because we are governed by multiple governments, right? And I know historically, and I think that members of the HARD board would agree that maybe because of how Castro Valley developed and with the lack of intention at times, that we are underparked. We have seen an underinvestment in HARD resources in our community, and I know that you are striving to do better by us. So I really appreciate that partnership, and I think it's a model for us to look forward to in how we get things done in unincorporated communities. And I know that we, at times in this school district, particularly in our COVID response, we had to do things that wouldn't have otherwise been done, but for the school district. I do want to acknowledge the work of former trustees, Monica Lee and Joe Loss, who were also back in the day working on this project. So this has been a project that has been in the works for a long time. And these are fields that had been in existence for a long time, since I think JFK was president, when Canyon High School was opened, and it was a high school, and then it became a middle school. I am profoundly disappointed in the state that we live in, that we perpetually underestimate in our infrastructure, in our public schools, in our parks. And I think the fact that we're here right now is indicative of that. And that's why we have to work in partnership with you in this space. So I really want to thank you for making this work and listening to the public in real time. There's been a tremendous effort, a fidelity to listen to what people are saying. And I think this revised resolution speaks to that. And so thank you very much. Oh, trustee Howard has something he would like to say.
Yeah, just very briefly, I'd like to say, I also appreciate the partnership that we have with HARD and with other agencies within Castro Valley. I mean, as Michael sort of alluded there, we can't do this by ourselves, and to have great partners like HARD is really very valuable. And I enjoyed the time working on the committee with you, Lou, and also with Peter Rosen, and along with Lavender. And before that, we came to a very good agreement with HARD on other issues. And tonight we're considering a second one. So we just want to continue that partnership into the future. So thank you very much for all your guys' work. Yeah.
And with that, let's take a vote. Oh, Dolly has raised her hand. Trustee Adams, sorry.
Maybe to pile on a bit, but I do really want to thank Sarah Lambton and Mr. Andretti for coming today from HARD. And I really am very happy that we are able to do this partnership with HARD and other community organizations to help our school district get the facilities and things that we need for the children in Castro Valley.
Thank you. And with that, let us vote. Trustee Raymond,
Yes.
Trustee Howard,
Yes.
Trustee Whitaker,
Yes.
and Vice President Adams.
Yes.
And I am a yes. It passes 5-0. Next item is item B, adopt a resolution of exemption pursuant to Government Code Section 53094B.
Thank you. Yes, this is for your approval. We're recommending approval of this item. So just wanted to highlight a couple of points. As you mentioned, Government Code Section 53094 permits the school district to exempt itself from county zoning ordinances if the use is for educational purposes. The Alameda County 2012 General Plan land use designation for the project site is SCV or schools. The property is zoned as SVC-BE-CSU-RV. The Alameda County has enacted certain zoning ordinances, including but not limited to the requirement that the development of an outdoor recreational facility requires a conditional use permit in a SCV or schools zoning district. The property will be used, as we are all aware, for educational purposes to support a variety of physical education programs, after school sports programs, and recreational or athletic activities. So this is an item that we want to recommend that the board approve, which is a resolution permitting Canyon Middle School an exemption from the Alameda County zoning ordinance.
Thank you for that. Ms. Kyer, do we have any blue cards or online comments? Excellent.
I'll move that we adopt the resolution of exemption pursuant to Government Code Section 53094 sub B.
Trustee Whitaker.
I will second.
Excellent. Do we have any discussion on this item? Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the explanation of what this is and why we're doing this. And with that, let us take our vote. Trustee Raymond,
Yes.
Trustee Howard,
Yes.
Trustee Whitaker,
Yes.
Vice President Adams,
Yes.
and I am a yes. It passes 5-0. Our next item is item C, rescinding resolution number 32-23/24 regarding CEQA and project approval. Number 2, certifying the final recirculated initial study mitigated negative declaration under CEQA for the Canyon Middle School Athletic Field Project. 3, approving the mitigation monitoring and reporting program. And 4, approving the project. Let me turn this over to the superintendent.
Thank you so much. I have just a couple of slides to start us off. investing in our schools and community spaces since 2016. I wanted to kind of take us back to where we started with our bond measure and some of the work that we have done. So as you see in the picture, we have, our partners from HARD as well as community members, but CVUSD facilities master plan was done and approved in 2016. Measure G bond approved by Castro Valley voters in 2016. And as you heard from Mr. Andrade, HARD's Measure F1 bond approved in 2016, funding portions of the various projects, including the Canyon Middle School Sports Complex. CVUSD and HARD joint board meetings, we had several. We met to discuss the conceptual design and work on a new agreement to amend existing agreements starting in 1966. Our partnership goes way back and a lot of work that we have done together. And it's since 2016, we started talking about some of the other things that we could do together, mainly fields. So just a kind of a short recap of what projects have been completed. Just in general, there have been many, many things. But we have, when you look at our schools, the play structures have all been done. We've improved that. We have HVAC systems in our schools that we didn't have before. We have modernized all of our classrooms. When I walk into classrooms, they look very differently. And there's also a lot of things that happen behind the scene and also behind the wall. It's not necessarily all visible as you walk through, but they have definitely been transformed for our children. We have added amphitheaters and outdoor shading spaces for our students. And this was ahead of what state actually requires, that schools have shading, shades and structures like that. So we have those in our schools now, and our students are able to use them. We've done exterior, interior painting. We have done all of our ADA upgrades that we wanted and needed to do. Castro Valley High School, these are just examples. It's obviously not everything, and I encourage everyone to go to our website to take a look at all of the details of the many projects we've had. But Castro Valley High School and Creekside athletic fields have been upgraded, and the new blacktop stripping that has happened all over, our district. And of course, this is what we're talking about today. Again, when we talk about fields, it's the Canyon Athletic Fields upgrades is a part of what we have had plans for, and we have been partnering to make happen for our children. As I think about the many things that our kids can't do because we don't have the fields, basically for the last few years, our students have not had the ability to use our fields during school, and of course after school. As you have all heard, our students are being driven to other cities and have to rent space. Our soccer clubs and thousands of kids and families that have to drive out of here to actually have access to fields. So I just wanted us to kind of think about where we started and where we are. And again, as you heard from our trustees, it's been an incredible partnership and very thoughtful. As I sit there sat there the last 7 years, really looking and discussing and thinking of all of the things that we need to do to make this happen. It didn't just happen overnight. There was a lot of thought given to every piece of that agreement and the things we need to do for our children. Again, our kids come first. That is our number one focus. And we want to make sure that they have activities, that they're able to do the things that we encourage our kids to do. We want them to be active. We want them to collaborate. We want them to be healthy. So this is just wanted to start us off with this before I turn it over to Ms. Chan and Ms. Sharon Truquence to start the presentation. And there we go. Canyon Middle School athletic fields for Castro Valley Unified School District.
Excuse me. Thank you, Parveen. So yes, so this is, Canyon Middle School Fields, it's the final piece of our puzzle for Canyon, that we've done all of the modernizations for the buildings. And so now, thank you. We have the final part of the final recirculated mitigated negative declaration for your consideration. We also have the mitigated monitoring and reporting program and for an approval of the project. So let me bring up PlaceWorks Dwayne Mears to give us our presentation.
Good afternoon. Pleasure to be here again for you. Again, my name is Dwayne Mears with PlaceWorks. I'm a principal in charge of the project. Okay, the CEQA overview. Let me just talk a little bit about that. It's our primary environmental protection law. It requires that public agencies review and consider the possible environmental effects on the environment of any action that you may take. And of course, we've completed a draft recirculated initial study / mitigated negative declaration for this project. I know that's a lot of words to put together. So again, to show you where the project is located, again, the red on the left shows you the entire site. And on the right, you see the site, and the field is highlighted in orange as well. But I think we're all pretty familiar with the site at this point. So here's the site plan. The grass area will be changed out to a synthetic turf. You also see highlighted the access points in the kind of the circles. Also very important, you see in the different colors, the location of the light poles, and they extend anywhere from 60 to 90 feet, and that's distinguished by the different colors. And you also see here the 4 soccer fields cross, and you can see the baseball and softball fields on the 2 sides as well. So the CEQA timeline. The original initial study mitigated negative deck was circulated between December 9th through January 9th. There was a public hearing on the 14th, and on the January 31st, it was approved by the board. There were a lot of comments that occurred from that, and the document was then recirculated for public review again with additional details of the project and also additional analysis. The public review period ran from May 24th through June 13th. We had a public hearing on June 12th. And then today we're having our next board meeting as well. So we had 70 comment letters from the community members. Also 2 technical reports and peer reviews were received as well. The main topics of concern: aesthetics and lighting, noise, wildfire, traffic, and let me explain the structure of the final recirculated initial study mitigated neg deck. First is an introduction, and it explains the project modifications that occurred, and I will go over those in a minute. It includes all comments, and we provide responses to those comments. So we take everything very seriously about all of the comments received, and you'll see very detailed responses. A lot of time and effort has gone into this project. Then you've got the draft recirculated initial study neg deck itself, and revisions. The last section are revisions to the draft document. So we highlight those and track changes, et cetera. So you know exactly what has changed between the first and second document. So this shows you the comments that were received. You see in red the individuals who have commented and provided negative comments. In other words, they are against the project. So, and you've already heard the project's changes have been made to the project and made because of community input. So here are the modifications. I'm going to repeat those. You've already heard them. But reduced lighting schedule. In other words, events are going to end at 9 p.m. And the sports lighting is dimmed at 80%, down to only 20%. meaning that you need enough lighting to get out safely. We need people to be able to exit safely and also to clean up the field afterwards. So that's the reason why it goes down to 20% lighting. Amplified sound prohibition. So there's no amplified sound, no PA systems of any kind between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. The other thing is the field attendance limit. So during that period, it will be capped at 300 persons. And this is to help mitigate noise impact as well. And then also a field monitoring program. So there'll be agreements between HARD and any group that's using the field to make sure that they understand the limits placed on them in terms of using the field, in terms of the number of people and what they can do there, the prohibition against PA systems, et cetera. So there's also kind of a feedback loop to ensure that that is not exceeded over time. So I'll go over the mitigation measures that we have. The first one has to do with air quality. And all of these are very standard mitigation measures in CEQA documents. We're going to be disturbing the soil out there in terms of flattening it out further and putting in the artificial turf. And whenever you do that, you want to make sure that we are not generating dust unnecessarily. So we have a mitigation measure to ensure best practice for that. In terms of biological resources, there's possible impact to nesting birds and wildlife mitigation. And so again, there are pre-construction surveys and buffers that we include as standard mitigation. Cultural resources, anytime you disturb the soil, there's a potential that you might identify an archaeological resource. And so again, kind of a standard mitigation measure to make sure that we can collect any resource that might be out there. And the same is true with paleontological resources. Same thing, we're going to disturb the soil. We want to make sure that we collect anything and not harm a resource. Variable cultural resources, again, the same thing. The same standard mitigation. Now, a lot has been said and commented on in terms of the noise analysis. And there was argument that we should have used a different modeling program. Something called SoundPlan. We've used SoundPlan on many other projects, and so we have now used that same program on this project. And so what you see again are the contours. The green, of course, are the lesser noise levels, and then to the yellow, and then it gets brighter and brighter for the high noise levels. And it's not possible to really see all of this unless you're looking on your screen. But essentially what this is showing is that it confirms our analysis that we have a less than significant noise impact at those nearest homes to this project. Okay, so here are the board resolutions. You've adopted the exemption from local zoning. And the next would be to rescind the approval of the original document and then adopt the recirculated mitigated neg deck and monitoring program, et cetera. And then following that would be approval of the project. So that, I believe, concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, so are there any comments? Just if we had a question of the presenter, now would be the time to ask it. I do have a question to the presenter. I was curious about the artificial fields. There have been some questions about what's the environmental impact of that. And my understanding is sort of a cost benefit analysis, right? We've had a lot of wild boar issues up there. There are safety issues of players like tripping into holes. Gophers, yeah. I've jokingly said the wild boar should be the mascot for Canyon. But I'm just curious to know, like, what does modern, what does it look like in 2024 synthetic field, and how is it possibly a more environmentally pragmatic choice?
Well, just like the lighting is improved in terms of technology, you can say the same thing about artificial turf. If you remember way back decades when AstroTurf was involved or was first created, you know, it was a hard surface and professionals, football players were getting hurt. So they've learned a lot. They've learned a lot. And so you know, they've learned from that. And so these new surfaces have certainly improved over that. And it would certainly be a big improvement over to the gopher holes that you have now as well. There's also some concern about kind of the health related in terms of the materials. Again, early fields were filled with crumb rubber that came from used tires. And that was a problem, and you will not have that on this surface.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, well, very good. So do we have any public comments? We have 21 on this item. Okay. Okay, and 4 online and 7 in person, 17 in person. So that's got it. We have 22 public comments, 4 online, 18 in person. I would like to accommodate as many voices as possible here. May I suggest that we limit comments to 1.5 minutes? That would put us slightly over a half-hour comment, but I would be, yeah, Trustee Whitaker?
I second that approach.
I don't object to that.
Okay, so are we all aligned? 1.5 minutes for our 22 public comments. Excellent. So everyone who has signed up to make public comments, as we noted at the start of the meeting, when we want to be able to accommodate as many voices as possible. We do limit some of that comment. We are going to be going over the half hour we have allocated and providing 1.5 minutes. Let's start out first with our 4 online comments, if that's okay. So our first comment is from, can we go with Musia? No worries. And I want to thank Ms. Kayer. I know that she has to deal with 2 board members not here and managing public comments. Musia is not here. Musia, if you are going to come back, let us know. We will try to include you. Sun. Hello, Sun. You have 1.5 minutes to speak. Thank you for joining us this evening. Hey, Sun, are you still there? Yeah. Sun, we'll try once again, but let's go over to Rita now. We're going to ask Rita for her comments. She's doing that. She understands how to do. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say while you're trying to do that, I want to thank Ms. Kayer for doing what she does every single time flawlessly. So sometimes when we have technology and we have people online, it's hard to get everyone on the same page. We appreciate
Hi.
you.
Sorry, this is Sun. I wasn't able to unmute.
Well, welcome, Sun. You have 1.5 minutes to share your perspective. Welcome to our meeting.
Actually, I think my biggest concern, I think like everyone else, is just the noise and it's the noise. My husband and I are pretty much early birds. We start our day relatively early from 4:30 and 5:30 respectively. And so that means that we go to bed early as well. So noise is a concern. And I see that there has been some modification to the plan where you're saying this, the PA is not going to be allowed from 6 to 10, which is great news for us. Other than that, I think you have addressed my concern.
Thank you for your comment, Sun. Shall we try again with Rita? Hello, Rita. Welcome to our board meeting. You have 1.5 minutes to speak.
Okay, I probably won't need a minute and a half. I really appreciate some of the modifications that you made. I do want to say that I don't think that they are good enough for us. For example, you're talking about 6 to 10 when there will be no PA system allowed. What about weekends? Do we have to listen to the PA system all day, every weekend? You know, every weekday during the day I work from home and I'm gonna have to hear that all the time. The other concern that I have is with your exemption, that you sort of made a choice to vote on exempting this particular initiative from the Alameda County zoning ordinance as a conditional use permit, and you're saying that this is for educational purposes. I don't know that renting fields, how does that belong to education in any way? That people who will be renting might not even be from this community or from this neighborhood, and definitely not from the school. So that to me does not sound like fall under the educational purposes, what you're describing. I also feel that there has still not been enough consultation with the community. I really appreciated you telling us this.
Thank you for your comments. Your minute and a half is up. Thank you for
Okay,
participating.
thank
Can let's go to Wendy. Hello, Wendy, are you there? Hi, Wendy.
Can you
Welcome
hear
to the meeting. Yes, you have a minute.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for your time in going over this. I'm in agreement with the changes. It sounds good for the changes. And it's better. So, because I know when we practice late, and usually from 6 to 7. Sometimes we stay over and scrimmage for about a half an hour, and then we leave. So by then it's by 7:38 by the time we're done. So I'm very in agreement with the changes, but I do have a concern about the new turf coming in. Because there is one part in the back area where it gets really wet sometimes, and when we play, they have to push up the line by the goals because there's so much water over there, and it gets muddy. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And let's try one last time to see if Musia is there. No. And may I just clarify something, Ms. Kayer? You provided me a list of names. They did it online, but they're here in person. Got it. Thanks for clarifying. Let us start first. Tina Sachs, and I'll name the sort of 3 people in a row so you all can come up to the microphone. Tina Sachs, Teresa Talbot, and Justin Kemp. Welcome to our meeting. Tina, you have a minute and 30 seconds.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak again this evening. I don't have much to say about the comments going back and forth. We've hashed it out, and I'm really excited where we've landed. And it shows community, cross-community collaboration amongst a host of different fronts. So thank you for that. The thing I want us to think about tonight is leadership isn't easy. And when we lead from the front, it's even harder. And you all know what the right thing to do for our community is. It is to vote in approval of this project, as stated in the board packet tonight. And I'm asking you to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do for our students, both within our community and beyond our community, as well as our community members. So thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to the yes approval tonight.
Thank you, Tina. Teresa Talbot, you have a minute and 30 seconds.
I wanted to thank you and everybody here, no matter your side, for being here. As Michael mentioned, this is very difficult in our community because we are unincorporated, but we are here, and I appreciate everybody's input on this. I have a couple things I'd like to let everybody know. The soccer club has the highest attended TOPS program, which is for our special needs kids. they can't use any field in Castro Valley. They have to go all the way into Hayward. It's a heck of a trek. They've been doing that for decades. I have a neighbor who her son has graduated, her special needs son has graduated. She has been trying to get Canyon fixed up for that long. So if anything, for our special needs people, please get this approved and going so that our future generations can utilize a field within their community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Teresa. As I call Justin Kemp up, let me name the three next people: Ilya Boehm, Christy Willits, and Susan Dioli. Welcome, Justin. You have 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm here to speak in strong support of the Canyon Fields project. I'm a relatively new transplant to Castro Valley. I've been here for about 8 years with my family. We chose to come to Castro Valley for the schools when my son was about to start kindergarten. Very shortly after getting here, I started volunteering within our schools, and as well as prior to that, I've always been a volunteer in various projects in and around our youth, one of them being CASA. Today, I'm a team member for Play TV, which brings after-school programs and summer programs to Castro Valley. All this experience has taught me what I'll call like fundamental truths. One is, in addition to that experience, mentioned participating with the Measure I campaign, as well as on the oversight committee for Measure G. The truths are our community success is directly related to our schools and the opportunities that we provide our youth, especially our property values, that are quite literally our future is our youth. And lastly, that being a part of community means accepting the idea that the needs of the many far outweigh the needs of the few. So for that reason, I'm supporting the project.
Thank you for your comments, Justin. Ilya.
Ilya Boehm, resident of Castro Valley since 2011. I want to thank the board for giving me opportunity to voice my support for the project, for the Canyon Field project. We owe it to we owe this project to our kids. We owe this project to our community, and because they deserve a much better facilities that the miserable state that Canyon Field is currently at. As a volunteer, coach volunteer for Castro Valley soccer, I've heard so many comments from our kids players that play occasionally have to play in Pleasanton and Dublin, how nice those facilities are. And they call those kids lucky, how lucky they are to have these facilities. As parents, we know that it's not luck to bring these type of facilities to the communities. It takes hard work, it takes dedication, and it takes compromise within the community. I know that Castro Valley has what it needs, the success that we need to have here, because we do have a hardworking board, we have a community behind it, and we have lots of players that all kinds of levels, including special needs players that strive for success and that strive for the growth. So I challenge all of us to bring Castro Valley into the 21st century and to bring the modern facilities here to Canyon. Thank you.
Thank you, Ilya. Christy.
Hi, my name is Christy Willits. I moved to Castro Valley when I was 12 years old. I'm a little bit older now. I used the Canyon Fields when I was a student there. My kids grew up here. They have used the fields. They are in a poor state now, and we have been working on this since 2016. I've been a part of the Castro Valley Soccer Board. I have been a coach. I have been a player. I've been a part of the school district, and I fully support this project, and I hope that you vote yes today. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. Susan, you have 1 minute and 30 seconds. Welcome.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna cut this short. I live in Greenridge, and currently during the school year, I can hear the PE teachers' one PA system. What I'm in disagreement with is please, no PA systems at all, permanent or temporary. The speaker system may not be permanently installed, but the proposed plan allows for portable PA systems that will only be prohibited after 6 p.m. That still leaves community time from 3:30 to 6 p.m. on school days and 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on weekends. That alone is 20 hours of amplified noise on the weekends, 10 hours on Saturday and 10 hours on Sunday. Times 4 soccer fields, or 8 if it's the little kids playing. Imagine the different announcements, the music, the coaching, all broadcast at the same time for 10 hours every Saturday and every Sunday. To reinforce my plea, it's not one PA system. It's upwards of 8 PA systems if all the smaller fields are being utilized, or 4 systems if the big fields are being utilized. So my question is this: do kids really need PA systems to play soccer? Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Susan. Our next 3 speakers are Dennis Hermosa, Raquel Suco, Amelia Gallagher. Just as a reminder, these are public comments, and we really don't need to have responses from the audience. Let's all just listen together, please. Thank you. And Dennis, you have 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Hi, my name is Dennis Hermosa. I've lived in Castro Valley for over 40 years, the last 31 in Greenridge. We've raised 2 daughters here. They went to CV schools, participated in hard programs, the soccer league. Great experience. They're on their own now and off the payroll, I'm happy to say. I also spent 35 years in the software industry, a lot of it as a project manager. So I pulled out one of my project management books, and it says stakeholder: any people or groups who are positively or negatively impacted by a project, initiative, policy, or organization. I would say that any competent project manager would know that identify stakeholders and develop a communication plan for stakeholders are key artifacts for any project. Where are those documents? Where are those artifacts? Nobody has reached out to us. This has been a surprise to most of our neighborhood. I know I've heard a lot of talk tonight about partnerships, but where's the partnership with the neighbors? We don't know anything about this till recently. It's just not fair. I voted for most of you on this board, and same goes for the hard directors. And by the way, I enjoyed hearing Mr. Andrade talk about that. That would have been great to hear at a town hall forum so that we could be more educated. I think most of my neighbors probably voted for you too, based on the signs I've seen. Surely it must have occurred to someone on this board that we would be negatively impacted. Why didn't someone insist that we engage with all stakeholders? I'm in favor of.
Thank you for your comments, Dennis. Your 1.5 minutes is up. Thank you. Good evening, Raquel. You have 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Hi, my name is Raquel Suico. Thanks for the opportunity to speak today. I'm strongly in favor of this project. I'm an educator. I'm a community member. I 100% believe in giving access to children in our community, families in our community to sports and to this project. So I'm in favor. Thank you for the time.
Thank you for coming this evening. Amelia, you have 1 minute and 30 seconds.
I was born and raised in Castro Valley. I grew up in the Unified School District here. I have worked with HARD in the past, and I currently work with our students in the district through Play CV. Working with HARD in the past and working with our students now, I truly believe that this project would benefit all of our students and our community. I just wanted to voice my support for the project. Thank you.
Thanks for being here tonight. Our next 3 speakers are Virgil Evers, Cynthia, I think it's Trostel, or yeah, okay, and then is it Karsten? Okay, hey Karsten. Okay, so Virgil, Cynthia, then Karsten.
Good evening. Thank you for having me, and thank you for having the meeting. I come here and in basic support of the project, but not as it is outlaid. I'm a 21-year resident here in Castro Valley in the same home, right above Canyon Middle School. Both my children went to the school there, both participated in sports at the facility. There were no lights. There were no PA systems. And when the sun went down, everybody went to their homes. That worked great then, and it will work great now and into the future. Let's do that. Relying on the reports generated from PlaceWorks is flawed in that the school district paid them to generate a plan that does not evaluate the effect of that plan on the community, the neighborhoods, and the environment, or the aesthetics of them. You are not considering the very students that you're supposed to be responsible for. Monday morning, PE classes will be impacted by overused fields. From the weekend, there will be an impact from traffic and light pollution. And the look of this
Virgil, thank you so much for your comments. Thank
part
you.
of there.
Welcome, Cynthia. You have a minute and a half.
Hi, since everyone's establishing their creds, I'll say I was born at Eden Hospital. I went to Independent, Earl Warren when I was in middle school, and graduated from Canyon. I've lived on Green Ridge, where my family's had a home there my entire life. So I also have a master's in early childhood education. I ran state-funded programs for low-income children, and our first priority was children from CPS and children with special needs. So I am for a field that is improved and will provide really great sources for our children, but not as it stands and not with the corrections that were provided. They were sort of like the teachers listened to our comments and said, okay, well, here's the correct answer. So I do want the field, and I want the kids and the families, and I want them to be proud of where they play. That's good, not as it stands currently. I want to talk about the synthetic turf. I'm glad there's going to be better infill. It's still a plastic rug that degrades in the sun over its lifespan of 10 years, at which time it will need to be replaced. There currently, to my knowledge, is not a really good environmentally sound way to replace that. We are not looking at sustaining the environment for generations to come. I see in the plan there will be cash pools, but I don't think they're going to filter out the microplastics before it's discharged into the water system. I think you've all read about microplastics in the environment, potential hormone disruptors. I don't think you want that for your kids.
Cynthia, thank you for your comments. Hi, Karsten. Welcome. You have a minute and 30 seconds.
Hello, so I would just like to say I'm all for the fields and lights, but I'm going to talk about like the actual playing experience on the fields. So turf lasts a lot longer than grass usually. And like, you know, it's easy to maintain, but with playing on it, like, you know, just normal grass cleats, kids can get hurt and like really screw up their, like they can trip and then that'll screw up their, ankles. And that's not good. And then also, you would need like turf cleats, which are usually really expensive and hard to find. And you know, that's just not really worth it. So I personally am all for it, but grass fields I think would be better. That's my thoughts.
Thank you for your comments. Our next three speakers are Jeffrey Kruger, Richard Adams, and Rachel Blunt. Welcome, Jeffrey. You have a minute and 30 seconds.
Good evening. Like many of us here, we watched our kids get locked down for 1.5 years and then encouraged not to socialize with their peers. Our kids came back from that and they were at a disadvantage. Soccer helped my son, who just spoke, kind of reintegrate and develop friendships here in the community. And so I think about that, and I think about how our kids are really stuck on their devices. I know I struggle to get my son off his device, and I'm sure most of us here in this room do the same. I strongly encourage having fields and other types of facilities that encourage kids to get outside, be active, and put their devices down. I do agree with some of the concerns about the lights and the lateness in the evening for which the lights will be on, even with the 20% reduction in the illumination. I live within earshot of the high school. It doesn't particularly bother me, but I respect the arguments of the people that live immediately around Canyon and their concerns about light and noise pollution. I think if we can find more of a middle ground or maybe we turn down the lights a little bit sooner. And I agree with the argument against PA. I think there's no need for PA on a soccer field. I think there's maybe a little bit more compromise that can be had in this project, but I do support the field strongly. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, Richard. You have a minute and 30 seconds.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I've been here since 1958. My school, Sydney School, is eliminated. It's all housing. My junior high, A.B. Morris, is all eliminated. It's housing. I believe there was another school, I think it was Parsons. So these are sold off, not thinking about the future. And I understand that this is a problem. I just think you have to think more about, well, I'm in my senior years here. I like to go to bed at 8 o'clock. And I'm right there. I had 2 houses up there. I sold one, I chose this one. Serenity Now. I got a valley that way, I got a valley that way. It's beautiful. Also have a lot of wildlife. I have owls there, coyotes, turkeys, bobcat. I got pictures of that. It's really cool. I just don't think they're going to appreciate all the lighting. The lighting, to me, I started off thinking about the lighting. Why have light when 10 o'clock? I don't know. What's everybody doing out there at 10 o'clock? Is this for the youth? Is this for adults? So the other thing was fire suppression. Don't tell me an adult not going to go out there and smoke his cigarettes.
Gosh, thank you for your comments. We appreciate it. Rachel, you have a minute and 30 seconds.
All right. The greatest joy that I have right now is watching the kids play in all different forms, all different ages across. I am the president of the Castro Valley Sports Foundation, and I did that purposefully to provide funds for sports. I was a Castro Valley Soccer Club board member, vice president to secretary. I have committed 21 years as a coach over here from soccer, cross country. I'm at the high school. And I tell you one thing, the greatest joy is the opportunity to work with kids and to work with sports and to be able to provide a facility for that. One of the things that really scared me as a coach at Canyon Middle School for 5 years across country was injuries. Kids were sustaining injuries from just running on the fields and the soccer. We shouldn't have to do that. We need to think about safety first. I understand that there's some concerns there, and let's work together to do that. And let's figure out a happy medium so that everybody wins. But we got to ensure long-term and the happiness of this community for our own children and for the future of Castro Valley. So yes, I am in support of this whole project. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next 3 speakers are Russ Thompson, Steve Bazotsky, and Gerald Caulfield. Russ, you have a minute and 30 seconds.
Thank you, members of the board, for doing your civic duty. Democracy is great to see at work. I was here the last meeting. I was here when we approved the original long name of whatever that document is. A few familiar faces. And I want to say one thing that did stick out to me. I don't see the lady that spoke last time, but she did speak about the parking issue at Canyon. Forget the soccer field program. It was something that resonated with me, and I hope the board doesn't ignore that topic as a separate topic a different day. I'm currently on the board of the soccer club and been in Castro Valley since 2005, not born in this country, had to choose somewhere to live, and very thankful I did choose Castro Valley. 3 kids, still all in the school system here, and it's, I'm one of those parents that has driven more miles than I can count to outside of Castro Valley to help them fulfill their need of kind of that sport community. And what better way as a parent to be able to give them that sport community in their actual community. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve, you have a minute and 30 seconds.
Very much. My name is Steve Bazowski. I live in Briar Ridge since 1984. I've lived in Castro Valley since 1979. And what I'm hearing from well-intentioned people, and I'm one of them, it's all about the kids. And I totally agree with that. I was a four-sport athlete, played high school football, high school basketball, high school baseball, high school soccer. And if it wouldn't have been for the high school sports and the extracurricular sports in the summertime, I wouldn't have gotten my four-year scholarship for baseball at the University of Washington. So I'm all for that. But the collateral impact it's going to have on our neighborhoods, and it's not like we had just a lot of homes up there. There's 205 in Briar Ridge, and I don't know how much Green Ridge has. But the collateral impact at this stage, at this point, is too much. We had the water slide issue back in 1980 that got defeated for similar reasons, okay, well-intentioned, but it wasn't a good fit. It's being presented as a field of dreams. It's really a field of nuisances, okay? And therefore, I'm not for it at this stage. And the parking, neighborhood exposure, the canyon is like an echo chamber. When the kids walk them 300 yards from me, their voices are pleasant. I love hearing them, but it carries. Now you're gonna have a loud applause and whatever the PA systems are going to be mitigated, but the control, where's the enforcement going to be? Alameda County, I can't even get them up there to patrol Briar Ridge on a.
Thank you for your comments. We appreciate it. Our next person was Gerald. We do have I have 4 more comment cards. No more comment cards, please. I do have the last 4 people are, I can't see if it's Jen. Can you read that? I can't read it either. Maybe Niven all. Neat. Yes, it's you. Sorry. So Deneen, Sue Smith, Heidi Crespin, and then if there's one other person out there that didn't put their name on their card, representing GCAA. Is that you, Thomas? Okay, so Thomas, you're the last speaker. Okay.
Good evening. My name's Deneen Amen. I have been a resident on Briar Ridge for over 26 years now. And I just found out about this project when it was proposed in the Castro Valley Forum a couple of weeks ago. And when I found out about it, I was stunned. I was very concerned. And, when I first moved here, I voted on the measure to do things to enhance and keep the schools upgraded. But I feel like there's been no outreach to the neighborhood, the people who are going to be impacted with this project. And I think that's a major concern. And I'd like you to give that some thought. I know you're at the point where you want to make a decision on this, but I know my neighbors, many of them know nothing about this. And it's going to impact us. I'm concerned about traffic. Whenever I drive by Castro Valley Middle School while parents are picking their kids up, it's bad news for me. I've been almost run into, and it's just a bad situation. And I also took a look at the proposal, and I feel like due diligence was not really done to,
Thank you so much for your comments. Thanks for being here. Gerald, let's have Gerald come up. Sorry, Gerald.
Kind of nervous, so thank you for letting me speak. And I just wanted to, I had to make it short, so I just wanted to make a comment. I was going to put this in my original letter, and I didn't, but I saw the MND report, and they had some figures that they wanted to show what the nighttime views would be. And here's like the one nighttime view. This is figure 414, and another nighttime view. Another nighttime view. Okay, so anyway, I had a problem with these figures that they were kind of computer generated. I guess they took an image and they computer generated it, and then they took it from a point that is not from our neighborhood. It was lower on the trails, and they described these as full darkness. Now I ask you guys, is that full darkness? Is that's how any of these pictures, is that full darkness? You know, they say that it was like dusk, but at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, 7 o'clock, in most of the year, it's going to be very dark. And I go for the project, I go for like the lights, but don't keep them on quite so long. If you can cut it off like at 8 o'clock or something, it would be better. Anyway, that's the way I feel. I think that PlaceWorks misrepresented nighttime viewing.
Gerald, thank you for your comments. Before you leave, I know that our two board members online couldn't see it, and you weren't showing the pictures this way. If you could just quickly show them to us. Yeah. We did. It's because this is a meeting of the board and his comments are to the board, so that we just wanted to show them to us. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Yes, it does. I just appreciate you showing this to us. Thank you. Thank you we can't have a discussion here. I was just offering, again, comments being made here tonight are not to the people in the audience, it's to the board. So when you are addressing us, please focus your attention to the board. You did a great job. Thank you. Sue Smith.
Sue Smith, and I'm a resident of Castro Valley. My main thing I want to say is I'm totally in support of this. I mean, we need a sports park. I play soccer out in Fremont and I play out in Hayward with adults and kids. And you go to those parks and they're beautiful. You hear noises, of course. This Canyon Field has been there a long time. Kids play at it. There is noise. There is a school there with bells. So that's been going on. What is so important is we're now going to have a surface that's safe for the kids to play on. Having the lights is so important. Parents aren't going to have to rush in and out and squeeze teams together on these fields. They're going to have a little breathing room after school to get their kids to practice. I didn't realize that the residents hadn't gotten a lot of information about it, but I do think that the impact they're worried about is not going to be as huge as they're concerned about. So I think we need to, if you could help them know what the facts are. And the lighting is really important, but also working with them on the times maybe to make it work for the whole community. It's just so important, just the impact on environment. And one thing about the turf, it's just so much better economically and safe-wise. Thank you.
Thanks for your comments. Heidi Crispin. Thanks for being here, Heidi. You have 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Hi, thanks. I'm just gonna go right to it. So bottom line is you guys are saying we're gonna have a new field. Great, wonderful. Sounds like we're all on the same page. We're not against you having a new field. Wonderful. You need to get a couple things, what we see every day. Whole Canyon, when you drive past it, how beautifully Hard is taking care of it. They took away that water and then they put a beautiful stream in there that is lovely. You can see it through all the weeds and everything else. And I think there's some trees they planted in there. You can see it. It's a mess. They don't take care of it. And yet you're going to say, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this beautiful umpteen $1 million thing. I'm sorry, I've lost faith in the things you're asking for as far as, oh, we're going to have nice things, but you're not taking care of what you already put down there that was shown a beautiful picture of this Nice little park that Cole Canyon was supposed to be where the children and we were supposed to walk our dogs. Never saw it happen. And now you're going to continue on and neglect something else. Finish what you started, then go to your next step. But one thing at a time. You're not taking care of what needs to be done, and then you're going to the next. I'm not begrudging the kids. I love the kids. I've been hearing them for years since I was a little girl. That's not what we're arguing about. We're bottom line saying you've got to take care of, and the fires, the people. We don't want our houses burned down. Who's going to take responsibility for that? I'm done.
Thank you, Heidi, for your comments. Thomas.
Hi, my name's Thomas Westfall, and I was born here in Castro Valley in 1966. I am one of the first 100 souls born at Eden Hospital. I moved back here in 2007. I'm a resident of Green Ridge. I do not live on the View side, but I am a local realtor, and I know what the impact would be and how it could be on a positive compared to a negative level. I've heard certain things about lighting not making a difference, and I highly disagree. I remember when the lighting was changed on the street lights here in Castro Valley to LED, and I no longer see the stars. So to say that that's not going to affect it is totally false. You'll take away the views from the people who rightly deserve them. When you say something like, oh, the noise won't make a difference because here's our study map and it's stopping right here, I disagree. Come have coffee with me tomorrow morning at 5887 Green Ridge and you can hear the freeway traffic. So you're going to hear it all the way up the hill. Like you mentioned, it is a funnel. I am not against this. I think it's something we absolutely need, but I do not think any consideration was taken into the people that live around the area. You say property values, they will go down for us, maybe up for you. You say consideration, so we should take one for the team because quality of life does add value to the homes. Views adds value to the home. Quiet adds value to the home. So to think that that's not going to make a negative impact, you're wrong. I know that because I live there and I sell that in neighborhood and I've sold a lot of places there.
Thank you for your comments. So thank you everyone online and here in person who made public comments. And now our next part would be entertaining a motion and then we can deliberate. Trustee Whitaker.
Yes, I would like to move approval to adopt the revised resolution 2/24/25 for one, rescinding the resolution number 32/23/24 regarding CEQA and project approval. Two, certifying the final recirculated initial study mitigated negative declaration under CEQA for the Canyon Middle School Athletic Field project. Three, approving the mitigation monitoring and reporting program, and four, approving the project.
Trustee Adams, I mean Vice President Adams. That sounds like a second, but I can't hear you.
I second the motion.
Thank you. And with that, we're going to go and we are going to deliberate now. We're going to have a discussion as a board, and I just want to let's see who wants to speak first. Trustee Adams, would you like to say anything?
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to lower my hand. That's okay. I may make a comment later.
Okay. Okay. Any comments from the board at all? Trustee Raymond.
Okay, so I just want to say that I have read every letter that's been sent to me, every word of every letter. I have followed links that have been sent to me. I've looked at every picture that's been sent to me. I have read every article that's been sent to me. You know, but I also want to just really reflect on the fact that we have a duty here to our kids. All right. And one of the biggest concerns that I have right now about Canyon is that the field's completely unusable. Completely unusable. Not even during the school day is it usable right now. And I think I personally think it's very important that we make it possible to get those fields in a usable condition as soon as we can. We've delayed this. We've considered input. We've reflected on it. You know, those are the thoughts that I want to share. I thank everyone who's come to these meetings, who has reached out to us, who is engaged in the process. I think community engagement is really critical in general. I do think that sometimes there are things that unfortunately we're just not always going to agree on necessarily. But I also do want to point out that for every complaint we've received about this, an objection that we've received about this, we've received 10, please vote for this. Yes, you know, and that includes people who live in Green Ridge. It includes people who live in Briar Ridge who have reached out to us to say, please vote yes on this. And I think that we need to consider that. Those are my thoughts on this issue. Thank you.
The Trustee Whitaker.
Yeah, I also want to reiterate my thanks to the community for their civic engagement. I think it's very important that we have a lens and understanding for the things that we're doing. I've been on this board since we started talking about it in 2016. We've had many public engagements. We've written about it in a lot of different places. We've engaged a lot of different groups. We've posted information in the paper. And I appreciate the facts that were presented. I do, however, want to state that I am a little disheartened by some of the comments that I read referring to those people. We all have conscious and unconscious biases. However, othering folks who have different circumstances or identifiers than us concerns me, and it doesn't align with our all means all philosophy. And I don't believe that we should punish children and or families because they have a different socioeconomic class, ability, or identifier than us. And so I would just like to state that.
Thank you, Trustee Whitaker. Let's go to Trustee Howard.
Yeah, thanks to everybody. Thanks to everybody who's participated in this. It's a big deal for the community. And a lot of times the decisions that we have to make are, they're not black and white. They're sort of in the middle. And we look at everything that we can get, all of the emails, we read them all. And the report that we got was pretty extensive. It's more than 500 pages with lots of data in it. And the emails that I've received in the last couple of days have been very much in favor of this. I mean, overwhelmingly. So, we are trying to do what's best for, at least as we perceive it, for the greatest number of people in the community. So we'll try to do that tonight. So, but thanks to everybody for being part of it. And we did hear everything that you said and written.
Vice President Adams.
Yes, I want to thank all the people for their comments, the people who spoke for the project, against the project, and the people who are in between. One of the primary things I really, one of the reasons I'm really for this project is because of the safety that is going to be allowed for our kids with the synthetic turfs. We won't have kids, hurting their ankles and gopher holes and those sorts of things. And so I'm really happy that we are doing this for the children of Castro Valley. It is for both the schools and then primarily, but not entirely, primarily for the children of Castro Valley and, after school programs. And I mean, there were some comments about how it gets children off their phones and gets them physically active and socializing and increasing their social skills. And also the idea too that this is going to be ADA compliant, meaning that children who may have special needs will also be able to use the fields is also really important to me. Really that all the children can use the fields for both soccer and for baseball and for softball. thank you for all the people in your comments. I know I have read all of the emails, all of the many comments that people had, and we really appreciate your input.
Thank you. I'll say a few words. I'm really sensitive to the fact about like public engagement. That's what got me involved here in Castro Valley, seeing a real void in our democratic processes here. People relying on very poor information on social media sites, not connecting with their neighbors. And that's sort of what drove me to get involved in our community and to seek change. And that's what led me here with my two boys who are in the Castro Valley schools and seeing the direct impact of that. I've been very open about my own personal experiences growing up in poverty, experiencing homelessness, and the importance of schools in my life as a refuge, a place where I found home. I have a really tough time with the notion that folks didn't realize that these fields are fields that have been used since this was opened as a high school. I have a really tough time with this notion that it's not being used for an educational purpose. It's a middle school. We have physical activity as part of our curriculum. Both my kids have engaged in sports activities both in school and outside of school. This is not some money grab by HARD or the school district to make some money off of leagues or something. It's about providing facilities for our kids. And yeah, I'm really heartened by what Trustee Whitaker said, the othering of kids. And I find it really ironic when you think about, we've heard from our partners at various sports leagues. I'm not a soccer dad myself. I'm a baseball dad. And I know that my kid isn't able to play baseball games up at Canyon because of the quality of those fields. And I've seen the passion of folks in the different baseball leagues here in town to maintain those facilities. And why do they have to do that? Because of the intergenerational lack of investment in our school facilities and our public facilities. And that's what brings us to this partnership with HARD and why we're leveraging those funds. But to Trustee Whitaker's comments, I just find it ironic that in some ways there have been very, I would say, undertone racist and sort of classist comments that we have heard throughout this process that gives me pause and really frustrates me about some of my neighbors, but you are still my neighbors. But the irony is that we are sending our kids outside of Castro Valley to do these sports activities. So I want a place for our Castro Valley kids to play sports. I want our kids to have a place to recreate, and I want investment in our schools. Something that the state of California in 1978 decided that in its great wisdom would make it really tough for us to do. And I know all of my fellow board members know what it's like every day to face the limited budget that we have with limited resources and trying to do best by our kids. And so I'm very confident that in partnership with HARD, we can do something really important that is going back to the purpose of what that school is. It's a school. It's had those athletic facilities there. We're going to upgrade them so our kids can actually use them and benefit and learn on them. So those are my comments. And with that, I think we should take a vote.
I would like to say one more thing, President Kuziak.
Yes.
I meant to say this, but did not. Sustainability is a big factor in my life and what I do for a living and my passion. So is environmental. And, when I think about our kids going to other communities and the CO2 emissions that come from cars and the global warming potential that causes, I also think about our kids having to stay out later than they need to. And I also think about the amount of water saved from watering those lawns over a 10-year period and how that will help with our water conservation needs in California. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for that. And it reminds me to just also say, public process is important to me. And I think if anything, the failure of this district at times has been to turn it over backwards to really, at times not even advocate for its own interest. And in this case, we decided to reopen the process to make sure that we could hear from as many community members. And this has been, I would say, this district has been notorious in that we have had public meetings, multiple meetings on agendas. And I encourage anyone who feels like they haven't heard about what's happening in our school district to please check out our agendas, check out the Castro Valley Forum, become active in learning about what's happening here. But I am proud of the efforts of our staff, one, to deal with the absolute, just the volume of comments we received, and then the call to action to really show a fidelity to doing the right measurements here, doing the right analysis. So I really have seen our district step up, and it didn't have to, and I really appreciate how much we always step up. So thank you, everyone who's done that. So with that, let's go to our vote. Yes, Trustee Raymond.
One more comment, which is going to the community engagement portion of this. I did just want to add that I received a text from Liz Ortega this morning saying that her office had also been getting calls about this, and they were all positive, and asking her to advocate for it as well. So just wanted to put that in there as well.
And Liz Ortega is our assembly member. And with that, let's vote on this. Trustee Raymond.
Yes.
Trustee Howard.
Yes.
Trustee Whitaker.
Yes.
Vice President Adams.
Yes.
And I'm a yes. It passes 5-0. And with that, we have no more agenda items tonight. We go back to our regular school board meeting in August. It's been an extended summer of work for us, but thank you very much, everyone, for being here, and everyone online who's been here. And I'm adjourning this meeting.